What if I told you that one handful of nuts, yes, those innocent-looking snacks in your pantry, could quietly damage your liver, spike your blood sugar, and even interfere with your medication? And what if I told you that just one single nut a day could protect your brain from memory loss, fuel your thyroid, and keep your heart beating strong, well into your 90s? Most seniors think they're doing the right thing, swapping chips for almonds, snacking healthy. But the truth: some nuts are working for you, and others are slowly working against you. In today's countdown, we'll expose 3 nuts you must never touch and the 3 you absolutely should. These choices could mean the difference between sluggishness and strength, confusion and clarity. If you're over 60 and still believe in healing, subscribe. Now this might change your life. And if you've ever felt betrayed by your body, keep watching. Because this is redemption. According to a 20-year study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology, seniors who consumed the right types of nuts regularly saw a 35% lower risk of heart disease and improved cognitive performance over time. But here's the kicker. Those who consumed the wrong kinds of nuts, often thinking they were making healthy choices, had increased inflammation markers, unstable blood sugar, and even liver stress. Nuts are not just snacks. They're concentrated packages of power, for better or worse. And for aging bodies already navigating medications, slower metabolism, and fragile organs, every bite counts. That's why today's countdown is so important, because knowing which 6 nuts to keep or toss could rewrite the next chapter of your health. 6. The silent saboteur of peanuts. They're cheap, they're everywhere, and for many of us, they've been a go-to snack for decades. But what most seniors don't realize is that peanuts, yes, even the dry roasted heart-healthy kind, aren't really nuts at all. They're legumes, and they grow underground, which makes them far more prone to mold contamination. And not just any mold, Aspergillus, which produces aflatoxins. These are carcinogenic compounds that can silently stress your liver, especially if you're over 60 and your detox systems are already slowing down. Studies from the American Liver Foundation reveal that even low long-term exposure to aflatoxins can impair liver function, lower immunity, and raise the risk of liver disease, particularly in older adults. But the bad news doesn't end there. Peanuts are loaded with omega-6 fatty acids, which are not evil by themselves. The real danger lies in imbalance. You see, most seniors already get too much omega-6 from processed oils and packaged foods and not enough omega-3s. This creates a perfect storm of chronic inflammation. And inflammation is the gateway to arthritis flare-ups, cardiovascular decline, and brain fog. Still love peanuts? You're not alone. But if you're eating them daily or worse, grabbing them by the handful, it's time for a shift. How to protect yourself. If you absolutely must have peanuts, choose organic dry roasted and limit them to once or twice a week. Avoid peanut butter that has added sugars or hydrogenated oils. These multiply the inflammation. And if your liver numbers have ever been flagged or you take medications processed through the liver, ditch peanuts altogether. It's not about fear. It's about freedom. Freedom from chronic fatigue, aching joints, and digestive distress. You deserve a body that feels safe to live in. And for that, peanuts must go. If this speaks to your story, tell us in the comments below. Seniors around the world are listening. 5. The blood sugar trap cashews. They're buttery, creamy, and often marketed as the fancy nut and trail mixes. But for seniors especially, those managing pre-diabetes, diabetes, or insulin resistance, cashews might be setting you up for a dangerous spike. Unlike most tree nuts, cashews are high in carbohydrates, delivering nearly 9 grams of total carbs per ounce, with only about 1 gram of fiber. That means net carbs, WARs 8 grams, almost double that of almonds or walnuts. Now, that might not sound like much, until you realize how sensitive an aging body becomes to blood sugar fluctuations. One small handful of cashews, and you might be unknowingly pushing your glucose levels into a roller coaster, causing sudden fatigue, brain fog, or even night sweats hours later. But the sugar spike isn't the only concern. Cashews also contain oxalates, naturally occurring compounds that bind with calcium in your kidneys, and when that happens, kidney stones. Yes, even if you've never had them before, seniors with slower filtration systems or lower hydration levels are especially vulnerable. And if you've had stones in the past, even more reason to reconsider your cashew habit. But wait, aren't cashews full of magnesium and healthy fats? Yes, and that's what makes this one so tricky. Cashews do contain helpful nutrients, but the risks outweigh the rewards if you're not watching your intake closely, especially for seniors with metabolic syndrome, diabetes, or compromised kidney function. How to protect yourself. If you're going to enjoy cashews, limit your portion to 6 to 8 nuts per serving once or twice a week. Always pair them with protein or fiber, never eat them on their own. That slows the carb absorption. And drink water afterward to support kidney flushing. But the better choice, swap cashews for almonds or pistachios, both of which offer similar taste satisfaction without the sugar spike or oxalate overload. Think of it this way, you're not giving up your favorite snack. You're upgrading to one that actually supports your healing. Your turn to speak. Has blood sugar been a battle for you or someone you love? Drop a comment. Let's talk about it. Number 4. The calorie bomb in disguise, macadamia nuts. They taste like luxury. Creamy, rich, indulgent macadamia nuts feel like a treat from a high-end resort spa. But for seniors especially, those managing heart health or weight gain macadamias may be a silent saboteur hiding behind a velvet curtain. Let's break it down, just 10 to 12 macadamia nuts. Pack around 200 calories, mostly from fat. And while fats can be healthy, these particular nuts are extremely high in saturated fat, almost 3 to 4 grams per ounce. Saturated fat in excess can raise LDL bad cholesterol, increasing the risk of heart disease, especially in seniors already taking statins or managing hypertension. And here's something few people talk about. That high fat load doesn't just impact your arteries, it can also stress your gallbladder. Yes, the gallbladder. That tiny organ beneath your liver plays a critical role in fat digestion. And with age, gallbladder function tends to decline silently. For seniors with known or hidden gallstones, a fatty handful of macadamias can trigger digestive distress, nausea, bloating, even gallbladder attacks. So, if you've ever felt unexpectedly sluggish or sore in your upper abdomen after a healthy snack, it might not be indigestion, it might be the macadamias talking. But wait, don't they have antioxidants? They do, but those benefits are quickly eclipsed if the nuts are stored improperly. Macadamia nuts rancidify quickly because of their delicate oils, and once rancid, those fats become oxidized, meaning they actually damage your cells instead of protecting them. How to protect yourself. If you really enjoy macadamias, treat them like a dessert, not a daily snack. Limit your intake to 5-6 nuts and only on rare occasions. Store them in the refrigerator always. And never eat from the bag. Always serve in a small bowl or ramekin to avoid mindless overeating. In your 30s, your body could forgive this. But in your 60s, 70s, and beyond, every calorie needs to count as fuel, not a burden. Swap these out for heart-friendlier choices like pistachios or walnuts. You'll still get the crunch without the crash. If you've ever been misled by a healthy food, share your story in the comments. You might save someone else from the same mistake. Version 3, the Heart Helper Pistachios. They're small, they're green, and they've been underestimated for far too long. Pistachios might look humble, but they are one of the most powerful heart-supporting foods a senior can snack on if you know how to use them right. Let's start with the numbers. A 1-ounce serving of pistachios, about 49 kernels, offers 285 milligrams of potassium, a heart-friendly balance of healthy fats, and a wealth of antioxidants that help calm inflammation. What makes potassium so vital? As we age, our bodies often retain more sodium thanks to processed foods and certain medications. That sodium holds on to water, raising blood pressure and putting strain on your arteries. But potassium works like a pressure release valve. It helps flush excess sodium and eases tension inside blood vessel walls, naturally supporting a healthier, steadier heartbeat. In fact, clinical studies in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that older adults who added pistachios to their diets saw meaningful drops in systolic blood pressure, the top number. But it doesn't stop at the heart. Pistachios also help manage blood sugar, thanks to their low glycemic index and balanced combo of protein, fiber, and fat. Translation: when you eat pistachios with a meal, they help slow down the absorption of carbs, preventing blood sugar spikes that can lead to fatigue cravings and long-term metabolic damage. And here's a hidden gem. Pistachios are rich in lutein and zeaxanthin, 2 carotenoids that protect your eyes from age-related macular degeneration, the number one cause of vision loss in people over 60. Emerging research even suggests that these nutrients support brain health, keeping you mentally sharper as you age. How to use pistachios smartly. Choose unsalted or lightly salted varieties. Keep portions to 1 ounce per day, about 1 handful. Buy them in shell if possible. It slows you down and helps prevent overeating. Store them in the fridge to protect their delicate fats. These aren't just snacks. They're medicine in a shell, balancing pressure, blood sugar, and brain function in one daily dose. If your doctor ever mentioned blood pressure meds or insulin, pistachios might be your new best friend. Tell us in the comments if you're adding them to your cart this week. Figure 2. The Brain Defender Walnuts. Have you ever noticed how a walnut looks just like a brain? That's not just nature being clever, it's nature leaving a clue. Because among all the foods on your shelf, walnuts may be one of the most powerful defenders of your mind. Let's dive in. 1 ounce of walnuts contains about 2.5 grams of ALA, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. And omega-3s are essential for the structure and flexibility of brain cell membranes. Think of it this way. Your brain is like a symphony of electrical signals. But if those signals have to travel through stiff inflamed wires, everything slows down: memory, mood, even motor function. ALA helps keep the brain's wiring flexible and efficient, preserving mental sharpness well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. A study from Tufts University found that seniors who consumed walnuts regularly had better cognitive flexibility and processing speed than those who didn't. And the protection doesn't stop there. Walnuts are packed with polyphenols and vitamin E antioxidants that cross the blood-brain barrier. That means they can actually enter brain tissue and fight inflammation right where it starts. Why is that important? Because chronic low-grade brain inflammation is now considered one of the root causes of cognitive decline, memory loss, and even Alzheimer's. So, when you snack on walnuts, you're not just feeding your belly. You're actively bathing your brain in protective compounds that slow aging at the source. Bonus benefit. Walnuts also contain a small amount of melatonin, the natural hormone your body uses to regulate sleep. And as many seniors know, disrupted sleep can lead to brain fog, irritability, and impaired healing. How to get the most from walnuts? Stick with raw or lightly toasted walnuts, never the ones coated in the sugar or oil. Limit to 1 small handful per day. Too much can add excess calories. Store in the refrigerator because their healthy fats go rancid quickly when exposed to light and air. Sprinkle them over oatmeal salads or yogurts to make them more enjoyable and consistent. If memory, mood, or sleep have been slipping lately, walnuts may be the most natural, delicious tool to begin your comeback. Have you tried walnuts consistently for a week? Tell us what you noticed. Your story could inspire someone else to begin healing. Bum 1, the One Nut Miracle, with a warning. Brazil nuts. If I could place just 1 nut into the hand of every senior watching this, it would be the Brazil nut. Because this isn't just a snack, it's a therapeutic mineral in a shell, a natural supplement disguised as a nut. Why? Because Brazil nuts are the richest natural source of selenium on Earth. Just 1 single Brazil nut contains around 96 micrograms of selenium, more than the entire daily requirement for most adults. Now here's what makes that so powerful. Selenium is essential for activating thyroid hormones, and after age 60, especially for postmenopausal women, thyroid dysfunction skyrockets. Fatigue, weight gain, forgetfulness, all often misdiagnosed or blamed on normal aging, when in fact it's the thyroid crying for help. Selenium helps convert T4 into T3, the active hormone that controls metabolism, mood, and energy. It also plays a major role in immune function, antioxidant defense, and cognitive clarity. Low selenium levels have been linked to higher rates of dementia, weakened immunity, and slower tissue repair. One study even found that seniors with optimal selenium intake had sharper memory scores and fewer depressive symptoms than those with low intake. But here's the critical warning. Too much selenium is toxic. Excess intake can lead to fatigue, digestive upset, hair loss, brittle nails, and even nerve dysfunction. That's why more is not better when it comes to Brazil nuts. How to use them safely and effectively. Eat just 1 Brazil nut per day, no more. Store them in the refrigerator as their fats can go rancid. If you take thyroid medication, blood pressure meds, or statins, check with your doctor first. Brazil nuts can amplify or interfere with certain drugs. You don't need handfuls. Just 1 nut once a day can become your silent strength builder, boosting hormones, defending your brain, and supporting immunity. That's the miracle of nature's pharmacy, but only if you use it wisely. Have you tried the 1 nut a day routine? Let us know your results. You might just encourage someone else to find their daily balance. For decades, you've probably heard one message repeated like gospel nuts are fattening. Avoid them if you want to stay healthy. And maybe at one point in your life, that advice made sense. Maybe you cut out nuts completely. Maybe your doctor warned you about calories or cholesterol. Maybe you feared your gallbladder couldn't handle fats anymore. But what if I told you that the very thing you were told to fear might be the key to protecting your memory, your bones, and your independence? Let's talk about the twist the truth hiding in plain sight. See, the idea that fat is the enemy has been slowly unraveling for years. Newer research from Harvard Tufts and the American Heart Association now confirms that it's not fat that's hurting us. It's inflammation. It's blood sugar swings. It's nutrient deficiencies. It's ultra-processed foods that have replaced real nutrition. And here's where it gets wild. The right kinds of nuts like almonds, walnuts, pistachios, and Brazil nuts don't add to the problem. They help solve it. They contain monounsaturated fats, plant-based omega-3s, trace minerals, and antioxidants that your aging body craves. They lower bad cholesterol, raise the good, protect your arteries, and even help regulate hormones. They're not the enemy, they're the missing piece. And remember the so-called dangerous nuts we mentioned earlier. Peanuts, cashews, macadamias, pine nuts. Even they're not evil, they're just contextual. Peanuts can be contaminated. Cashews spike sugar. Macadamias overload the gallbladder. Pine nuts interfere with meds. But in small, mindful amounts, in special occasions, they may still have a place. The real twist. It's never been about the nut. It's always been about knowing your body, understanding your risks, and choosing wisely. That's the powerful shift no one told you when you were younger. You weren't given the manual, you were given one-size-fits-all advice. Avoid fat-cut calories, skip snacks. But now you know better. And now you can do better. You see, healing after 60 doesn't look like restriction. It looks like restoration. Restoring nutrient levels, restoring energy, restoring peace of mind. Knowing your choices are supporting your organs, not fighting them. So if you've avoided nuts for years, thinking they were too rich, too dangerous, too indulgent, it might be time to invite a few back to the table, the right ones, in the right amounts, with a renewed sense of confidence. Because this time, it's not about fear, it's about freedom. Freedom to snack without shame, freedom to nourish instead of deprive, freedom to support your brain bones and blood pressure with every crunchy bite. Let's bring it all together. You've just uncovered the truth about 6 powerful nuts, 3 that can silently sabotage your health, and 3 that can help rebuild you from the inside out. Not with pills, not with painful routines, but with something as simple as natural as human, as a handful of nuts. Because the truth is your body wants to heal, even now, even after 60, 70, 80. The nutrients in almonds can rebuild your bones. The omega-3s in walnuts can protect your memory. The selenium in a single Brazil nut can rebalance your hormones. This isn't wishful thinking, it's science, and it's your right. You are not broken. You are rebuilding every time you choose foods that fight for you, not against you. So here's what I ask. If you believe healing has no age limit, subscribe. If you believe your brain, your bones, your heart deserve another chance. Share this video with someone you love. Let's rewrite the story of aging one snack, one choice, one empowered senior at a time. You've got the knowledge now. Let's eat wisely. Let's age powerfully.